Thank you all for coming so much. We're glad to see you. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to offer you a question. How can I help? Okay? So think about that as we go through our slides, and then we're going to come back to that question. But how can I help? So, without further ado, I don't mess this up. So, I want to introduce my council, because without the council, nothing can be done. I mean, and it's bringing a collective of folks together to make a city move in the right direction, setting policy and procedures, so it's important. So a good friend of mine, my Mayor Pro Tem, Susan Uten, she is my rock to lean on when there's tough questions. She's a smart lady. I love the way she thinks things through, and I love her thought process. She's a business owner in the community, and she knows how things work. Councilor Mark Morales, our at-large commissioner, Precinct 1, great guy, good friend. I love getting information from him. He's a longtime member of our community, and I love being around him. Alicia Casillas, our at-large commissioner, Counselor 2. She's very heavy involved in the Fair Association, and we love what she brings. Keith Parker, I don't see, but he's our Precinct 1 commissioner. Our District 3, Hector Trevino, he is here with his lovely wife. Glad to have you both here. Thank you so much. And District 4, George Cepeda. And I want to introduce, where is he at? Mayor Joe Gorecki. He's sitting back there, and I'm going to call him Mayor Morales. These two guys, and I can't say it enough with those two guys, they set a lot of groundwork that we're going to take credit for today. These mayors invested a lot of sweat and blood in this city, and this is what it would become. Their vision from way back then is now what we're seeing today. So very glad to have you gentlemen here, and thank you so much, Commissioner. Appreciate you so much. And Rosenberg is a little different than any other city in Fort Bend County, and when I say that, is our commissioner setup. We have Commissioner Grady Prestige, who's also in the back of the room, is one of our commissioners. We have Commissioner Morales, who's another one of our commissioners, and our new great commissioner, Dexter McCoy, is right there. So we have 3 county commissioners that are in and around the city of Rosenberg and its ETJ, and it puts us in a great position and leverage a lot of dollars to make things flow for our city, and we're glad to have each and every one of you. Thank you very much. All right, thank y'all. All right, this couldn't happen today without my beautiful wife, Lisa. She's here with us today. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for letting me be here. And I have my daughter, Cara Becerra. She's here as well, and thank you so much for attending. I appreciate it. So last year, apparently from my wife, I put too many so-sos in my deal. I get excited when I talk about Rosenberg, and I'm so excited for this, and so she did her and my daughters did a count of how many so-sos I used, so I'm not going to try to use any, so I'm going to stay away from those. All right, with that, the city staff of Rosenberg that's what makes it happen. You know, us politicians that get up here and get elected in office and get to bloviate on the microphone once or twice a month, we think we do everything, but it's these men and women behind the scenes that make everything happen, and I'm so proud to have them. First person I want to introduce is our coach. Our head manager is John Marsh, city manager for the city. Where are you at, Mr. Marsh? There you are. This guy right here, for a new mayor, when I came in 2 years ago, he's been not just a great mentor, but a great friend, and has helped me along the way, and I appreciate it. Another great person we have is Joyce Vasut, who is now our assistant city manager. Where are you at, Ms. Vasut? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate what you do. Danielle Swint, who's our city secretary. We love her. She does a lot of work for us. Thank you back there. Appreciate you. And our police chief, Jonathan White, who does a phenomenal job with his department. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Then we have Assistant Chief Jarrett Netherly. I'm sorry. Are you here, Derek? I butchered the heck out of your name. Thank you so much for being here. All right. And then we have our fire chief, Daryl Hemley. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And his assistant chief, Daryl, where are you at? There you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Doug Gorker, Director of Public Works. This guy is a rock. Thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate you. And then we have Eddie De Leon, Director of Utilities. Where you at? There you are, right there in front of me. All right. Luis Garza, Director of Finance. Where is he? I'm missing him. Got him. There he is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And a new member to our staff is Joe Ash. She's Director of Economic Development. And Joe has got some great ideas, and we're excited to make them happen, Joe. Thank you. Jackie Waring is our Assistant Director of Economic Development. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Charles Calcamy, is he here with us today? There he is. That's the man right there. If anybody knows anything about the city, this fellow does, and we're glad to have him on our staff, so we're blessed to have him. Shelton Besson, he's the Director of Technology. There he is. He put it all together electronically, and we thank you for what you do. And Miss Tanya, where are you at? Director of Communications. And this is the lady that puts the stage together and all our events and things like that, and we thank you so much for what you do. Kerry Leminsky is a new member, the Director of Parks and Recreation. See, there he is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And another new member of our team is Omar Polio. Where's Omar? Help me find him. And thank you for all you do over at the animal shelter. He has got a tough job, and that man pulls it off with grace and elegance. And we appreciate that. He keeps us looking good with our no-kill program, and we appreciate that very much. Ryan Swint, another new member of our team, building. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And the lady that makes sure everybody gets paid and has all their benefits, Miss Ashley Williams. There we are. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. All right. To understand where you're going, you have to know where you came from. Rosenberg is a city rich in history. Since the 1800s, Rosenberg is built upon the foundation of vision, growth, planning, development, and community. The foundation continues on today in the city's mission. And if you look back in history books and things or do a Google search and you see where Rosenberg was, an old mud town with railroads in it, and where it's come to today and where I see it in the future, the town has changed so much, and it's rich in history. It's going to help it move forward. It says Rosenberg is in a geographic and logistic heart of Fort Bend County. And if you get a chance, you go out this door, there's a sign out there that shows the hub of the Gulf Coast. And I think that was way back when somebody had put that, and I believe it was Mayor Gurecki that was commissioned and found it and put it back together, and we have it in there today to show off some of our history, so I'm proud. The city encompasses 108 square miles, over 37 of which are within our corporate city limits. So that's huge. That's a big area, and it's growing so fast, and it amazes me. Like I said earlier, my wife and I, we came here in about 1993, and what we saw of Rosenberg wasn't much to it, but you listen to folks and you hear the vision and things that they saw, and here we go. It's taken off like we thought. It took 20, 30 years to get to where we're at, but we're moving on in a positive direction, so I like it. So Rosenberg offers convenient access to diverse and skilled workforce, large tracts of undeveloped land, and modern highway, rail, and utility infrastructure. And I think that's what sets Rosenberg apart from most cities is what we have geographically. We have freeways, we have railway, we have all the good things here right in front of us to get us going. We're right outside the rush of Houston, where you can be inside in less than 20, 30 minutes now, and you have the railroad to move freight out of the way. So there's so many opportunities here in Rosenberg. It's great. So it says in 1883, Mayor Mulkey, the father of Rosenberg, built one of the first homes in Rosenberg. Last year, the city had over 710 housing starts. So I wished old Mayor Mulkey would have set that house up for the mayor so future mayors could have lived in it rent-free. We would have loved that. But he saw a vision in Rosenberg. A lot of folks didn't, and he started making it happen by planting that seed and putting that first house and making it grow. And a fun fact, there's a house at the corner of 4th and Avenue I, okay? And it's hard to envision. If you get a chance, please go by and see it. And it sits kind of catty corner. And everybody's often wondered, hey, why is that house built that way? But way back in the 1900s, a hurricane came through that spawned some tornadoes, and it picked that house up and turned it sideways and put it in that position. So fun factoid about Rosenberg, you get a chance to see it. It looks like somebody recently bought it and is doing some remodeling to it and moving it around and things like that. But you know, you always question things, why? But we had somebody smart on the team that did some research and figured that out for us. So I thought it was pretty cool. All right, 6 years later, in 1889, Mayor Mulkey donated money and land to build the first school of Rosenberg. And like I say, this guy was a man of vision. He saw Rosenberg, and what could he do to make it happen? Okay, this photo is from the 3rd and 4th grade Rosenberg in 1927, back when shoes were optional. So I think you'd get in trouble today if you walked into school without the shoes. So, All right, in 1960, the 60 population was 9,698 in 1960. And by 1970, grew to 12,098 people. By 1980, there were 17,995 people and new shopping centers. And the 2020 census shows us at, I think it's 39,000, somewhere in that ballpark. But if you do a little deeper dig in it, we're over about 41,000, 42,000 in that neighborhood. We're pushing on the far end of it. And that's not counting our daytime traffic. And if you look at our daytime traffic, the influx of people that come in to work, eat, and interact in Rosenberg, I guarantee we're pushing that way up into 75 to 100,000 range. I said Rosenberg continues to explode, and our employees are working diligently to support the growth. Over the last year, city staff has answered 146,184 calls for emergency. And I remember way back when, in 1994, we were doing about 6,000 calls, and so that's grown huge. Answered 27,802 inquiries to citizens' relations, and that's been a great program that was started with our city staff to have someone the citizens can reach into and talk to and be able to get their problems addressed and routed to the right person. And that's been a great thing. We opened 2,377 new water accounts. So if you take your water bill and do the math on that, that's a huge influx of money for the city in itself. Performed 16,199 building inspections. Mr. Smith, we appreciate that. That department is rocking on, and we appreciate it and moving, not getting the complaints that we got before, so we appreciate what you're doing over there. We reviewed 2,333 code enforcement cases, so they're out there actively looking for violations of our city codes to keep us moving in a positive direction and making our community a happy place. Processed 3,461 permits and reviewed 140 new subdivision plats. And that, I think, in my opinion, that number is kind of small, because when you look at the ETJ and then combine that into that number is way beyond that. And this is one I like, and I believe in quality of life, and I believe in vision, that if someone sees something dirty or not right, then they're going to get a bad take on something. And we mowed over 11,299 acres of right-of-way and open access. And I think that mowing and picking up trash and making it clean sets a positive example, especially on that 59 corridor as people pass through our city. And I know if you remember back when we were doing all the construction on 59, it looked horrendous. But we undertook that with the RDC, and we paid to have that mowed and picked up from 762 all the way out to Spur 10 in the city to make it look right. We overlaid 4.13 miles of streets, and that's been a great partnership with our county commissioners working with us, where they provide the labor and we do the material. We give them a list of streets that we need overlaid, and they do a great job in helping us with that. That's been a huge success. We've swept over 1,462 miles of streets. We have a street sweeping company that works with the city and make sure our city streets are swept on time and kept up to date. And we're not getting a bunch of those limbs and stuff into our sewer system, drainage system, which can clog that up and cause an issue. Had 736 rentals at the Rosenberg Civic Center. So the Civic Center has been booming. It's growing, and I'm excited for that. This was another vision that someone had way back when. I talked to an old-time city councilman, and they talked about annexing this land for the city way back, and nothing was out here but weeds and dirt. And look at what we have now. We have a huge park behind us and a wonderful civic center here to show off. Other significant projects the city accomplished during the past year include railway quiet zones. And I don't know if you've ever lived by a railroad track, but boy, howdy, that sure will get annoying after a while. And we invested in that, and that was a huge investment for the city. That's coming along rapidly and quick, and I think it's going to make it great for our friends and neighbors that live along that railroad corridor, and especially our downtown area. When we have events and things, we're not drowned out by the train horns and all that good stuff when they come through, so we're excited for that. What was another great one? FM 297762, Brazos Town Center Crossing, that area as well, Commercial Drive. We're having all that redone with the quiet zone, so when you go shopping out there as well, it'll be quiet for you. Solid waste contract, and I can't brag about GFL enough. And I don't want to bash other folks, and I don't want to do that, but the quality of service they give our city has been huge. We had 1 day a week trash service when we had recycling involved in it, and come to find out we were doing just a horrible job on recycling. And I think it's so important that we take care of our planet by doing little things like that, recycling, and making it a better place to live. And with GFL coming along and having a contract with them where we're doing 2-day-a-week trash pickup, and we still have our recycling, because we were kind of threatened we were going to lose our recycling program, but we were able to keep it, get 2 days a week trash service, and customer service has been awesome. Thank you, GFL, for all you guys do, and young lady, thank you for all you do for our city. We appreciate it. So it's an awesome deal. All right, the fire truck. Well, I get excited. I'm going to skip back. We had to go through, when the census was done in 2020, we had to redo our boundary lines. Like I said, we have 4 districts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we have 2 at-large. Well, those districts have to match the population. So if I say we're going up to 40,000, we got to equalize those districts with population. We've got to equalize those different with demographics, and a lot of other factors go in. And John Marsh was on the point when that came up. We hired a firm that came in out of Austin that has no bias with us, came in and was able to redo our boundary lines and make our districts change a little bit to work out. So these guys got bigger districts stretched out and moved around. And you see over here in District 2, it's huge, but there's a lot of growth out there still yet to come. So we got that done. I thought it was going to be a tough project, but the folks that we hired to help us make those decisions did a lot of good work and made it easy for us. All right, in 2022 also brought us a brand new ladder truck. And I'm going to brag about this ladder truck because y'all saw it when you came in. It's kind of a state-of-the-art deal. It's something to be proud of. It's a Tower 4 is what we call it. So it's what you saw on display on walking in today. We're also proud of the new apparatus. As Fire Chief Hemley put it, our city continues to expand outwards and upwards. The new ladder truck will not only improve the fire department's response capabilities, but it would also help maintain the city's ISO rating, which in turn helps lower insurance premiums for our residents. The truck is a transformer. It has vertical reach of 100 feet, a horizontal reach of 93 feet, and can reach downgrade 20 degrees below grade level, which is tremendous to help. And with an asset like that, I think it's going to be another, crowning our jewel with Rosenberg, having something great like that. By the first decade of the 20th century, the commercial district developed along Main Street, which is now called 3rd Street, was the first 2-story building built in the city. Was J.H.P. Davis Bank, which is now, I believe, labeled the Reese Building, the Gray and Sons Building, the Cochran Brokers Building, and the Earp Building, now called the Bogus Lane. So it was the Earp Building, but it wasn't White Earp and all that bunch, but it was there. 1912, there was 56 businesses in the city, including banks, real estate. There are now countless businesses that they call Rosenberg home, and we're proud of each and every one of them. The past year, we're proud to welcome several new ventures, including AutoZone, Biotex, Bobcat, Cavender's, Dutch Brothers Coffee, Harbor Freight, Hot Works, Jiffy Lube, Starbucks, Sunbelt Rental, and more, as well as a slew of new food establishments. There are also several new small business parks under construction. We have 3 major projects occurring simultaneously. And that's one of the biggest things when you're out and about in the community. People want, what do you look for? Let's get more restaurants. We need more restaurants. Well, they're coming. We're getting them, so explore a little bit. First, the brand new CenterPoint Energy is building their center on out 90A, the old way, not on the main drag, but out. That building is there. We have construction happening in the Texas Department of Public Safety. Their mega center for driver's license. They're building a new facility. I don't want to call it next door, but close to where they are now, more to the Golden Corral areas where they're putting their new mega center in. So that'll be a huge amount of traffic. And finally, we're excited about the Epicenter. I can't brag about this project enough. The Epicenter is going to do so much for Rosenberg as far as growth. We're seeing it now with the little bitty restaurants that are popping in now, but what's to come for that thing as it gets closer to opening time, I think it's going to be amazing. They're talking hotels and more restaurant options as folks come through that 59 and 36 corridor. I think it's going to be huge and help us grow in a positive direction. And we have a lot of growth on the southeast side of town, and I think that's going to help balance some of that growth on the southwest side of town and make us healthy. It says, while we do a lot for the future, we also work on preservation of the past. A major focus of the coming year will be the revitalization, development, re-imaging of the city, a major component in reminding the Highway 98 corridor. And John and I talked to this early on. I don't want to lose old Rosenberg with all the growth that's going on south of town. I think Rosenberg is important that we keep up with it and grow with it. And we brought Joe Ash on board with his vision and his plan to help recreate that 90A corridor that falls between the Richmond Railroad tracks all the way out to the Triple Fork there on Avenue H. I think if we invest our time and energy in that and get a plan started and future council members see it, we can make that even as good as everything that's south of town. Not that we hate south of town, but I just think if we balance the two, we'll be super set. Visual appearance is a major component of revitalization project. Elements such as sidewalks, landscapes, signage, overhead power lines, and more are under construction for visual updates. We spend a lot of money every year on sidewalks, and I think they're important, a quality of life piece that folks use. I see more folks now out walking, not to say that we made people healthier and made them go out and walk, but I see them making it more convenient to walk than rather walking in the street by placing sidewalks and things. And I think little things like that add to value. It gets folks out. We know we went through the COVID era where we were all locked in and we didn't communicate with each other. And I'm seeing it more where people are getting out and wanting to socialize and get to know each other. And it's very important. But we're trying everything we can. The grant, we several grants, and we've been blessed to get grants for the city. GLO was a great grant that helped us with our drainage issue, $47.5 million that we're going to spend on that project to improve our drainage in our old part of town to make it as good as the new stuff that's being built. Rosenberg Business Park, number 2, construction is well underway for the near completion. If you go out there off of 2218, you'll see that place is starting to take off and boom. That was another vision. I want to say Commissioner Morales had a big hand in that when he was mayor, getting that project going over there at Baymore and 2218. And so we've got a lot of businesses are starting to show interest and move into that area for us. Look at the quality of life improvements. This is probably my hill I would die on, is quality of life in parks, because what happens a lot of times is some of us are blessed to go and see other parts of the world or other parts of the state or other parts of the country. But there's some folks that this is their world. They don't get a chance to go outside that world. So how can you improve their quality of life and make them want to explore? And I think parks are a big part of that. I know as a kid, we spent a lot of time in parks. Where we grew up in the country, we spent a lot of time in the woods running around like wild Indians and stuff. But it's kids, getting kids out there, and especially kids inner city, I call it. They need those avenues to get out and learn. And if you look at what we're doing with our parks, it's awesome. It says, over the past several years, improvements have been made to our park. The biggest was the addition of our splash pad, which I think was important in the geographical area where we put it. Talking to the school board, there's over 4,000 kids in and around that general area that can take advantage of that. Whatever we can do for those kids, I think it's important. We also did there's a basketball court, and if you get a chance to go by there, Avenue Inn and Louise Street area, there's probably 40, 50 kids any given time, day or night, out there playing basketball. And we're going to put a top on that basketball to make it a little better during the summertime for them and the winter weather or rain, so they can get out and be active and play. And I think it's important for these kids to do that. I would rather invest in a kid in that instead of stand around and complain about crime, because we're not doing anything to help those young men and women achieve. And pickleball is a new thing, and I don't know how many know about it, but it's kind of been a growing thing, and I kind of a fan of it. My family and I, we go every November out to West Texas for my wife's birthday, and we'll circle back to San Antonio, and there's a place called Chicken and Pickle. Is that the name of it? Chicken and Pickle. That we go and we rent a pickleball court, and we have a good lunch and play pickleball. Not good at it, but it's not like a tennis court where you're running around driving yourself crazy. A little bit smaller arena, so we love that. But I think it's important. Its quality of life is so important in investing and reinvesting in these kids. We had a group of kids come forward wanting a skate park. I think it was over 400 kids signed a petition wanting to move forward with a skate park. And how do you ignore that? You can't. You've got to work with those young men and women and provide them the things they need. We saw a need at Sunset Park, had an issue with an old baseball field that wasn't being used for baseball anymore, but now kids are playing soccer on it. So from baseball, they transitioned to soccer. Well, hey, let's make that into a soccer field. So we recently had it resodded and ready to go. So I think as soon as the weather's good, those kids are going to start using it. But you've got to listen to folks, and you've got to do what they need done. But the biggest do for the parks was the city, and I always had fun with this, Perk Your Park grant. And we as a city or county, we all went in and had to go online and vote for Perk Your Park. And we got enough votes in where we won a $75,000 grant to reinvest in our park. So we're excited about some great things that we're going to put in with the Perky Park, $75,000. Because grant money helps you leverage so much and get things done. And we'll hustle a grant in a heartbeat. We love them. RDC, the Rosenberg Development Corporation, has been a key player in city improvements and funded over $5 million in projects this year, including the I-69 water line extension and the 90A revitalization. So we needed to get water from Rosenberg out to the Spur 10 area, because we've got a lot of businesses that's showing interest. You know, we have the Dollar Tree out there, and there's some subdivisions that are being built right out there in our ETJ. So we were able to leverage money from the RDC and move that water and sewer line out there to take care of those folks who become future customers, who may become future citizens of Rosenberg at one time or another. All right, other improvements, and this is a great one. This is another county project that we've been really, really good with. RDC funded the Brazzers Town Center driveway access point. If you'll know, as you come into Brazzers Town Center between the steakhouse and Gringo's restaurant, there's a cut through now with a light that helps control that traffic. And during the holiday time, and I'm hoping it plays a key mark, that intersection jams up because it was a three-way stop, and it was hard to get in and out of through there. And it seems like right now that red light is controlling that traffic really good and moving things through there. But they invested in that. RDC saw a need, met with the owners of that property, worked together as a partnership, and was able to pay for the access for them to get to the freeway from that. All right, the RDC also proudly partnered with Fort Bend County Transit, another great program. Since 2015, this was the county program I was talking about. We contribute $75,000 a year to our bus service. And this is a great thing, especially for our seniors. They can plan their doctor visits. The bus comes and picks them up, and I think it's $1. Maybe quote me wrong. They have to pay one, to travel on the bus, but it gets them to their appointment and their pickup times, and they don't have to worry about hunting down and trying to find a ride to their doctors. And this transit thing, if you get a chance to visit with those folks, there's a lot of information they have to provide. A goal for the city has been working to build community. One way to achieve that is hosting numerous special events to bring people together. Over the past year, the city hosted 23 special events. Last year saw the addition of new events. The Wine Walk was a huge success that we had last year. It was an award-winning program that we put on. So this year we kind of upped the ante. We did Wine Walk and Beer Walk because the guys felt excluded on that deal. And so we tried to make it good for the guys as well. And we had to, as a city council, we had to change the ordinance because back in 1993, 94, we had problems with consuming alcoholic beverages and stuff downtown. So the city put, hey, in a centralized business district, you can't consume alcoholic beverages. So city council had put an ordinance in to stop that. Well, as we changed and matured and grew up, council revisited that ordinance, decided to change it, and here we go. We're having festivals and things that some people enjoy, a sip of wine or a glass of beer as they stroll through and partake in events. So I think it's very important. But besides the deal, we did a Touch a Truck, which I thought was huge. Another thing for kids, we bring all these big trucks out, be it a GFL trash truck, be it a fire truck, be it the police SWAT vehicles, dump trucks, whatever heavy equipment that we have, these kids get to come out and see that and be a part of it. And you never know what little brain you're going to spark when they in a program like that. Are they going to take off and be a fireman? Are they going to take off and be a dump truck driver? Who knows? But you never know what you're creating when you do it. Touch a Truck, Hometown Holiday Festival. This is probably the one I get the most feedback on because of the location we have it in downtown Rosenberg. The old downtown Rosenberg adds to that mystique and that feel that it's more family oriented. Folks come out, enjoy it, walking through. There's so many attractions. It seems like it's growing every year, and we really love our little holiday festival. Cinco de Mayo, we did it first last year, first big, and it was huge. Folks enjoyed it, loved it, and I think we're going to do it again, and we're going to probably be making it bigger and better as usual. It was really good. The summer series saw the return of old favorites, the Cookie and Chocolate Walk. If you haven't had a chance to participate in those, it's pretty cool. You get a passport and you walk around to all these shops You pick up a cookie or a chocolate walk, whichever one is going on, and get it. Fish-tastic has always been a huge success for us. What we put on out here at our Lake Rosenberg, I call it back here, and folks get to come out and doing a fish conduct. The Easter egg hunt, and if you notice the Easter bunny there, I tried out for that position and didn't get it. So I'm going to try again this year, and maybe grace of God, I get to be the Easter bunny. But that's another huge thing where it brings out a bunch of kids and families to get up on that hill where the pavilion is and sit, enjoy the day, and be with the family. And that's so important that we take care of those. The 4th of July, that is another big tradition for Rosenberg. It's been going on. I wish I knew how long it's been going on, because as long as I can remember that we've been doing it. And it seems like it gets bigger and better every year and growing. And then we have Booberg during October, during Halloween, and the kids come out and enjoy that as well. Let's see, we're all brought back to one of our popular and functional events, our paper shredding and recycling event. That was another ideal, and it's great to come up with things and be able to pitch them to council members or city officials and say, hey, what do you think? And then you see something take off and go, and it becomes a huge success. And you think of paper shredding, yeah, big deal, but you think how many documents you have in your home that need to be destroyed a proper way, and it's a good one. And we were having about 2 years ago, it seemed like, I don't know, the weather was bad or whatever, we were having a problem with mosquitoes. I mean, we couldn't spray enough to keep the mosquito population down. So one of the things we added was a tire recycling. You know, a tire sits around, collects water. That's a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So it was important, and that was another huge success. We got way more than we thought. A few weekends ago, we had the daddy-daughter dance, and I tell you, I couldn't be prouder of a situation like that, to see dads and daughters come out here and to watch them. We had over 200 dads that signed up with their children. So, and you saw some dads with 2 and 3 daughters, and they were tripling the work. But it was see them, and you would see these little ones drag these dads in straight to the dance floor, and these little girls dance their little heinies off, and it was fun to watch. And what we got? Our next event is our Splash Bash on March the 11th. We will officially open the brand new Travis Splash Park. So March 11th, we'll have our splash pad open and have these kids out there, and hopefully they'll enjoy that. And the beer and wine walk that I bragged about for you guys, please show up, is the 18th. And I think we're on record to be above on it. Last year, we're moving ahead on it. The Emotions Band, some of you old timers might remember them. They'll be playing out there. So come out and enjoy that. It's really good. All right, let's see what we got. All of these accomplishments are amazing, but they take one thing: physical responsibility management, our budget. We have a record-breaking sales tax of $29,212,371. And I can remember years ago, like 93, 94, reading the Fort Bend Herald, and you would see we'd collect maybe $100,000 that month for sales tax. 150,000. Oh man, we're moving along. You know, we're gaining every year. But here we are at 29 million that we had last year in sales tax. And it scares me as the mayor, and talking to Mayor Zimmerman out there in Sugar Land, and Sugar Land had all that fast growth with sales tax, that you got to be careful when you're balancing everything out, cutting your property taxes, because sales tax can be volatile. It can come and go. And trying to find where is that ceiling for us and how do we balance that is very important. So we're very blessed to be where we're at with all our shopping. Our New Quest partners out there are killing it for us and bringing business for us like left and right. Record-breaking $3,623,757,055 of taxable property value. So almost $4 billion worth of taxable property. And with the city, you try to balance that with residential and commercial, and make sure you have a little more commercial than you do residential, so you can take some of that burden a little bit off of the homeowner. Rosenberg's economic position and financial leadership allows the city to improve our residents' quality of life, continuing projects to improve the function and aesthetic of the city, as well as minimizing the tax burden of our residents. Staff, at the direction of council, to lower the tax rate to the lowest on record in the last 60 years to 35.5 cents per 100. We increased the residential homestead exemption to the highest level allowed by law to 20% for homestead exemption, and a minimum of $5,000, and maintain the disability persons over 65 exemption at $75,000. So we're doing as much as we can for our citizens, as well as trying to balance that growth. The city's budget reduced debt from $5.4 million, resulting in a balance of $37.7 million. And when I first came on council, we had a lot of debt, and we have been diligent on paying that off in a timely manner, in a correct manner. And here we are at $37 million. The city was able to fund $4.8 million project for a new water well in 2023, thanks to the partnership with Fort Bend County. Thank you, Fort Bend County. The Mobility Bond Fund, along with city fundings, we were also able to fund $6 million Benton Road expansion and over $13 million for 2 phases of Copeland Road improvement. So that goes with that partnership with working with these wonderful commissioners back in here, leveraging that money that they have for mobility projects, giving them our wish and want list, and seeing what we can get and work with and make those improvements as we go. The city often applies for grant funding as a way to bridge the gap between a department's resources and needs. Grants are ways the city can fund solutions to identify problems that may not be able to fund fully through the city's current budget process. A grant can also move a project forward in years of planning and process due to quicker availability of funds. One example of the grant I mentioned previously is the $75,000 Perky Park. It allows us to add more to this park back here and makes us strong. The city was awarded approximately $9.5 million from the American Rescue Plan Act. Back during the COVID thing, we were able to do a lot of improvements with that $9.5 million that we normally would with the city. The city was awarded $47.5 million from the GLO, and I saw our rep right there. Thank you very much. We were blessed to get that, competing against a lot of major cities in Texas. Houston, Dallas, and Rosenberg came out with $47.5 million because we have good people that wrote a good grant and made that happen for us. So we're very proud of that. That will help with our drainage, with those improvements in Old Rosenberg, to help with the drainage in that area. As we grow outward, we're still going to take care of our inner circle people and make it better. The city was allocated a $4.1 million grant by the GLO, and we're going to be able to redo our Fire Station 1. Fire Station 1, if I remember right, is our first fire station. It's been there, Chief, I think since the 1950s. Head nod. Yep, thank you. 1950s, it's been there, and not a darn thing has been done, a little patchwork here or there. But I'm not saying we're going to tear it down, but we're going to break it down, and we're going to make it beautiful. But we're leaning toward that old style view, not something new and wonderful, but we want to keep it retro and keep some of those old Rosenberg vibes when we redid that fire station. So I'm so excited to do that fire station. I think it's going to be a great addition to us there. Let's see, as well as over $1 million in grants for public safety, including funding for new firefighter apparatus, bulletproof vests, special task force, fire and police staffing, and crime victims advocate staffing. So we've been really great on getting these grants and helping us out. Lots of great things happening in our city. Last but not least, I'm proud to say that on Monday we kicked off the second class of Rosenberg 101. And Commissioner Morales, please stand up, because I'm gonna carry you. I want you to crawl across the finish line, because this guy had this vision 10 or 12 years ago about bringing citizens into a city government and learning about it, knowing who's who, knowing how to get the right answer. Because if you know, and all us out here, people get on social media and want to bark about everything, but nobody knows who to talk to. But this way, we're bringing them in Rosenberg 101. We parroted a class from Sugar Land. I think you guys do it. And it's been this is our second class that we've started up. And this man, it was his dream project, and we were able to kick it off the ground. So thank you so much, Commissioner. Appreciate it. You know, and I missed my favorite mayor, Lupe Ariste. Where is she at? There she is, way back there. My favorite mayor. How are you, Mayor? I apologize I didn't see you back there. Thank you so much. All right, the town was named after Henry Rosenberg. Rosenberg developed because of the railroad. I find it fascinating that we're still exactly 140 years later, still thriving, full steam ahead. The railroad hadn't changed one bit. And as cities along the railroad know, the railroad is king in Texas. I don't know about the rest of the United States, but the railroad is king, and the railroad will always be there. So we're proud to have him. Another famous person, Henry Ford, said, "Coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success." And that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. As we wrap up, I want to thank again for you joining us today. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's touching to see you folks turn out from old kid from Route 9, Box 750, Lufkin, Texas. It's every day when somebody says mayor, I'm like, who, what? So I am very honored to be your mayor. And I started off the deal is, how can I help? And I end with that. Please, if I can help in any way to improve your business or improve the city, I am more than willing to do what I can to make that happen. And I thank each and every one of you very, very much. What? You didn't think we was going to get away without doing our T-shirt toss, did you? I couldn't pass on that. I couldn't. So would anybody love a wonderful Rosenberg T-shirt? Got you right there. All right. Yeah, I thought the chamber was going to kick me out for doing that last year. I'm going to try. Oh, got it in the salad. I'm going to go this way. I didn't go that way. All right. And again, I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.